Hello everyone, welcome to Diego Knows. I'm Diego, and today I'm going to talk about the Hawkeye TV series on Disney Plus, episode 4, which aired 2 days ago. Okay, so I'm a little late with this one. But okay, to get it over with here, Hawkeye. So far, we're in episode 4, there's 6 episodes. Okay, so it's almost over. Alright, so I gotta be honest with you, so far I'm not impressed. I mean, even if they come back with some really good episodes for episode 5 and 6, it's not going to save the show. It's not enough to save the show. All right, because I'm pretty much sure where they are right now, where they're going with it. I was trying to figure it out in the first 3 episodes. Now I know exactly where they are, what they're trying to say, where they're trying to go, what they're trying to do, and I'm not a big fan. I'm not. I'm going to start off with the good. So far, Jerry Renner is good. He's killing it as Hawkeye. I like Jerry Renner's portrayal of Hawkeye, because what he's doing here is he's underplaying it. Okay, now Hawkeye has always been a serious character in the MCU. He's always there, he's got that stern look on his face. He's always, doing the important things. He's always looks like he's doing something important. He acts like he's doing something important. But once you get his family in there, once he's there with his wife and his kids, he's a different person. He's daddy now. And that vulnerability comes out in him, that part of him, that he doesn't show anyone. I don't think he even showed it to Natasha so much. I mean, with Black Widow, he acted like this was his best friend. Like the way you act with your best friend. You care about him, you love him, but they're still your best friend. They're not someone you're intimate with. Whereas with his family, with his wife, and with his kids, he has an intimate relationship with them, okay? He loves them very much. Like the way Hawkeye was teaching his daughter how to shoot the arrow, in the beginning of Avengers Endgame, okay, that is a different Hawkeye from the Hawkeye that's hanging out with with Black Widow inside the spaceship. Like, hey, we're a long way from what is it, Budapest. It's a different Hawkeye. So he basically he changes himself depending on what situation he's in. Okay, so when he's with the Avengers, when he's doing the Avengers stuff, he's all business. Or he'll get emotional when he has to, like when he had to give Scarlet Witch that pep talk in Age of Ultron. He had to give her that. He had to let his guard down a little bit to get her up there, to get her to join the fight. Okay, but the other side of him is when he's with his friends, like with Black Widow. He's more jokey and stuff. He's more laid back, but he's still business. They'll talk and stuff. They'll talk like friends. But it's like I said, it's a business. It's like it's a good friendship, but like a working relationship. Like he'll talk to Black Widow in a way that he won't talk to Captain America, or Vision, or something like that. Like the way he talked with Scarlet Witch in Captain America: Civil War. Friendly but still business. There's that side of him, and then the third side of him is when he's with his family. Like the way he was in Hawkeye episode 1 when he's having dinner with his kids. And they're talking about what we're going to do for Christmas. We're going to have a Christmas movie marathon. We're going to decorate the Christmas tree. That way that he is with them. The way he was with his wife, Laura, in Avengers Age of Ultron, when they had that little private conversation in his room when he was changing his clothes. And she was telling him, hey, you know what? I think the Avengers really need you. That's what scares me, That was a very intimate conversation. That was a husband and a wife talking to each other, okay? That's the kind of Clint Barton that we don't get to see very much of. We only get to see it when he's with his family, okay? So people that he really, really loves, okay? So far, we got that Clint Barton in episode 1, and that's the last time we've seen him. Because his relationship with Kate Bishop has been the first two versions of Clint Barton that we've seen. The all business guy and the friendly but still business. We have not seen him intimate with Kate Bishop, and I don't mean sexually. I mean like the way a dad would be with his daughter, or the way a brother would be with his sister, okay, or the way a teacher would be with his student, a student that he really cared about. We have not seen that. Okay, we've seen him be friendly to her, but not much more than that. He's not an emotional type of person. He is actually. That's the thing. He is an emotional type of person, but he chooses who gets to see that side of him, and that's what I like about Hawkeye. Everything he does is strategic. He's not going to bare his soul to people that he doesn't know, even his friends. Even his friends, he's not going to bare his soul to them. In a lot of ways, he's a lot like Natasha Romanoff. It's a lot like Black Widow. Maybe that's why they connected so well, because they both understand it, that they're both weapons. that their weapons first and people second. Their function goes before their personality. What they do is more important than who they are, you see? And they both understood that. I think that's why they connected so well. But yeah, he can see that. And with Hawkeye, he is showing her his business sense, and then he's showing her his friendly, but not really friendly sense. Okay, that's what we've gotten with him so far. And that's what this show has been up until episode 4. He's been either all business or all business, but a little friendly, And he holds so much back. Jeremy Renner's a great actor. I mean, his facial expressions tell you everything. He's doing this on 3 levels. He's doing it on what he's saying. He's doing it on what he's doing. And then you gotta look at his face and really look at his eyes. And that's gonna give you a better idea of what he's thinking. And Jeremy Renner can pull this off, where he is doing 3 completely different contradictory things. I see him doing something, he's saying something that would make you think something else, but then you look at his face and he's thinking something completely different from the other 2. That's the genius of Jeremy Renner's acting. And that's why I think he's great for Hawkeye. He's got one of those faces, dude. One of those squishy faces, just like he looks like an average guy. He looks like a guy that you wouldn't notice. He's not super good looking, but he's not super unattractive either. He's like in the middle, which is perfect for him. He doesn't want to be noticed. He's athletic, but he's not super muscular. He's average height, so he's not super tall. He's not super good looking, so women are going to look at him and go and do a double take or anything like that and remember that guy. You see what I mean? So he blends in. He's a shadow. He blends in very well, and I think that's perfect for Hawkeye. So me personally, I know Hawkeye was based on Clint Eastwood. That's why Stan Lee named him Clint. So I always keep thinking he should look like Clint Eastwood, a young Clint Eastwood. But that would be too good looking or something. He would stand out in a crowd. You would see which one. If you saw a group of people, you would know which one is Hawkeye. Okay, So no, that doesn't work for his character. Not this iteration of his character. Okay, but the reason I bring up his 3 personalities is because right now, what we've gotten so far with him and Kate Bishop is he's only showing her his business side with a little bit of friendliness. He does put a little bit of friendliness in there. He does show a little bit that he cares about her, but more like he cares about her because he's been burdened with her. It's like when when you're at a shopping mall and you find a lost kid looking for his mommy and daddy, okay? As a responsible adult, it's your job to find the security guard, find a cop, basically you're in charge of this little kid until you find this kid's real parents or the authorities or whatever you have to do. But until then, you're responsible for this kid. Maybe you're busy doing something else. Maybe you have your own kids, whatever. But you're responsible for this kid until the appropriate help arrives. Okay? And that is kind of how Hawkeye's treating Kate Bishop. It's like, oh, God, I got to take care of you for now. Fine, we'll do this, but, we're not friends. Okay, I'll open up to you a little bit. Okay, maybe you're kind of cool, but, I'm just doing this to do this. Okay, I've got to get my Ronin suit back. I got to make sure they don't come after you, blah, 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 So that's the way his relationship with Kate Bishop has been so far. All right. He's not really invested in her. Okay. He's not really invested in her. She's impressed him a little bit. He likes her. Don't get me wrong. He likes her, but I think he's the kind of character that I don't care how much I like you. I'm not gonna love you the way I love my kids. I'm not gonna love you the way I loved Black Widow, the way I loved Natasha. You are not Natasha. You're nowhere near her, So there's definitely a hierarchy of how he thinks about Kate Bishop. And that's obvious in everything that he does. He doesn't want her around unless he has to. He doesn't want to teach her anything unless she pesters him. He kind of just wants to be left alone, do his job, and get back to his family, all right? But his relationship with her is not that great. And because it's not that great, my relationship with Kate Bishop is not that great. Because I'm reacting to Kate Bishop the way Clint Barton's reacting to her. I like her, but I don't really like her. I think she's cool, but I know a lot of cool people. So, you know what I mean? It's like he's not that invested in her. He doesn't look at her like a daughter. He doesn't look at her like a friend, a best friend. And he sure as hell doesn't look at her like a student. He's just like, I'm burdened with her. She's good at what she does. She's impressed me a little bit. She's a nice person. Okay to be around, but I got more important people to be with than with her. That's kind of how he feels about her, and that's the way I feel about her, unfortunately, because I'm looking at her through him. You know, now looking at him through her, Kate Bishop. Once again, I know exactly now why they hired Haley Steinfeld. Okay, she's that Disney Channel actress. Oh, okay. Well, maybe we should, like, the whole That's So Raven type, that Hannah Montana type, the Lizzie McGuire type. It's just like the over the top acting. Like an episode of Friends or something, where people are just like, oh my God. Where people act like that, that's what she is. Okay. And honestly, I don't think she works good with this show because, I'm supposed to believe that this girl is a award-winning gymnast, an award-winning archer, an award-winning fencer, an award-winning martial artist. Someone who's got those 4 things under their belt does not act like that. Does not act like that. Okay? And then there's the thing about the physicality, which I have not mentioned yet. Okay? When I see an actor who's physically fit, who's got muscles, they're shredded, they're ripped, okay, I believe that person is strong. I believe that person is good at what they do physically. For example, Captain America. Okay? Captain America, after he goes through the super soldier serum and gets blasted with the vitamin, when he comes out of that container, he's got this big buff body. I now believe that Captain America is a physical threat because he looks like one. Okay? He looks like a super athlete. He looks like a super soldier. That's what a super soldier looks like. Same with Thor. Thor's like, what, 6'5", 6'6"? When he takes off his shit, dude, he's got the goods. He's jacked. Okay? That tells me this guy is a warrior. He's an athlete. This guy is used to picking up large, heavy things. This guy's used to using his body. Okay, he's the god of thunder, so he's used to swinging that hammer and flying around. He fights these giant trolls. He fights these rock monsters. Like he's basically a gladiator. He looks like one. Okay, I believe it because of how he looks, the way he carries himself. Even when he lost his powers in the first Thor movie, when all he had was that T-shirt on and the jeans, the way he walked, he walked erect. He walked like an athlete. Okay. Yeah, he lost his powers, but he looked like an athlete. He walked like an athlete. He acted like an athlete, okay? He had the body language of an athlete. You see what I mean? He moves like an athlete. Okay, Captain America does that too. Chris Evans does that too. He looks like an athlete. You see? Kate Bishop does not look like an athlete. Haley Steinfeld does not look like a gymnast. She doesn't look like someone who's always doing gymnastics, who's always doing martial arts, who's always doing fencing, who's always doing archery. She doesn't look like that. She looks like an average girl, healthy girl, don't get me wrong, healthy girl, but she does not look like someone who's devoted her life to archery and gymnastics and martial arts. She does not look like that at all. Sorry, she doesn't look out of shape, she doesn't look fat, nothing like that. She's not an unattractive girl. Okay, what I'm saying is that doesn't look like the type of woman who would do that stuff. Have you ever seen a CrossFit girl? Like those CrossFit competitions, okay? Those girls look like they spent a lot of time being physical. They look like they can like do some gymnastics. They look like they can hit hard. They look like they can do that, okay? Haley Steinfeld does not look like that at all. Nowhere near that. So it's hard for me to believe that she actually can do those things. When we see her do those things, it's obviously a stunt double. Her face is obscure, so we know it's a stunt man doing, or stunt double doing that stuff. Okay, not her. You see, because she doesn't look like she could do it. Now, Sylvester Stallone, when he's in Rocky, he looks like he can fight. He might not be able to fight in real life, but he looks like he can. Haley Steinfeld does not look like she can. She looks like she just walked off of a fucking teenage Disney Channel show. Okay, I'm sorry, Disney Channel does not translate to Disney Plus. You see? It doesn't. Okay? There's a reason Disney Channel shows belong on Disney Channel. Okay? You can't really transfer it over. I know why they did it. They brought in Haley Steinfeld because they want girls to watch Hawkeye. They want to get the females in there, the young girls, her fans. They want to bring in her Disney Channel fans to Disney Plus. That's why they cast her. I get it. She's very relatable. She's pretty, but she's not super pretty. She's quirky. She's not full of herself. So girls, specifically teenage girls and young women are attracted to her because they can relate to her. because she acts like them. You know, she's not so full of herself that you know, she has insecurities. You know, she talks, like I said, she talks to herself all the goddamn time. You know, she's got the quirky Disney, that's something the Disney Channel girl does, the star of a Disney Channel sitcom does, you know? And she acts that way. She's got the body language, she moves her head that way, she talks that way, you know, I was just thinking, you know what, you know, it's like the drama is just out there, okay? It's the drama for a sitcom, not for an action show about a superhero. You know, unless they're doing a comedy, but this isn't really, like Guardians of the Galaxy, it would work because that's a comedy in space, okay? But Hawkeye's not a comedy. Okay, and it's not a teenage, it's not a teeny bopper show either. It's not a Disney Channel show. It's a Disney Plus show. Okay, and the majority, and I'm sorry, okay, because I'm going to say this again to Disney because they don't really seem to understand this, but it's not a show that should be geared towards teenage girls. Teenage girls are really not attracted to this stuff. Yeah, I know lots of women that love the Marvel Universe. I do. Okay, but I can probably count on one hand how many women I know that can tell me who trained Clint Barton? What issue did he first appear in? Okay, who is Clint Barton's wife? Okay, who did he learn archery from? What was Clint Barton's brother's name? Who killed Clint Barton's brother? What did Clint Barton do about it? What other superhero was Clint Barton besides Ronin? You see what I mean? Do you know those answers? Because I do. You know why I know? Because I read the comic books. Because I've always read the comic books, because I know the character. I know that guy. I know what he's about. I know his personality. I know what he's all about, okay? Most girls cannot answer any of those questions that I asked. They can't. Most girls cannot. Like I said, I probably know 5 women that I can think of that can answer those questions. You see what I mean? That's because they're not invested in him, because it's a guy fantasy. Hawkeye's a guy fantasy. They're trying to make it a girl fantasy, okay? So that's why they're trying to get a girl that girls relate to. Because she did so well with Bumblebee. Bumblebee got girls in the theater because she was the star. Her and Bumblebee were the stars of that movie. Okay, I liked that movie. And girls liked Haley Steinfeld's character in that movie because she was relatable. You know, she lost her dad. Blah, blah. She missed her father. They could understand her. You know, she was pretty but not too pretty. She was popular but not super popular. She was, you know, you see what I mean? She reflected them, so they related to her. That's not going to work in this situation because in the Bumblebee movie, Haley Steinfeld was playing an average girl with an extraordinary situation that happened to her. In this show, she's playing an extraordinary girl in an extraordinary situation. And I'm sorry, for all her quirkiness, she is not acting or looking extraordinary. She's not. You know? I'm not saying she's a bad person or anything like that. No, not at all. I'm just saying that I don't buy her as a very lethal force of nature. Because number one, she doesn't look like she's one. And number two, she doesn't act like she's one. Okay, she acts very reckless, very irresponsible. I know she's 22 in the show. I know she's 24 in real life, but she acts like she's 16. Like she's still got to get her mom's permission to do stuff. You know? Her mom cut off her credit cards. What? Why don't you have your own money? Why does your mom determine your credit cards? You're not 16. You're 22. You know? So anyway, so these are the little things that bother me about this, all right? She's not acting that way. I'm not saying she's a bad person, nothing like that. I'm just saying that she doesn't act like someone who would be the next Hawkeye. You see what I mean? When I look at Jeremy Renner, he looks like a guy that's been through a lot of shit. Okay, he's been traumatized by a lot of stuff in his past, but he had to hurt himself bad to get to where he is now. Okay, he had to literally break himself to get the experience and the wisdom and the attitude that he has now. He had to earn those things. I can tell that by his acting. Not her. You know, the scene where they're decorating the Christmas tree and Hawkeye shows her that he can not just shoot arrows. I mean, when he throws a coin, it can hit exactly where he wants to hit. And she's like, show me how to do that, you know? And then she tried like, what, 2 or 3 times and then she did it. Like, who the hell can learn how to do that fast? Even someone with her skills shouldn't be able to master that. You know, I mean, that's basically Bullseye from the Daredevil movie or the Daredevil TV show. When he throws it, you don't miss. You know, everything. A paperclip could be a lethal weapon in Bullseye's hands. Now she's got a coin and she can throw it perfectly. You know, that's like, after only like attempting, what, 3 or 4 times? That's not realistic to me. That's something you spend months, weeks, if not years mastering how to do. Especially with the ricochets. Because the ricochets got to hit the targets as well. Okay, that's extremely difficult to do. And you don't do that, from half an hour of after decorating a Christmas tree and watching It's a Wonderful Life. It's not going to work. Also, this episode dragged too much. This is what I call the filler episode. Okay, which means that if this miniseries was like a 2-hour movie or a 2.5-hour movie, and they told you, hey, listen, this movie's too long, we need to get it down to 2 hours. This is the half hour you would cut out. Okay, because it's not needed. Okay, nothing seriously happens in this episode. Nothing major happens in this episode. The camera just dragged too long on Eleanor and Jacques Duchesne, the swordsman. I mean, they spent a good 5 minutes on a joke that just went on too long. You ever heard a joke before where people laugh like, okay, well, you laugh for a few seconds and then you move on, right? Now imagine someone saying a joke that was okay, funny. You're like, right? And then afterwards you, and then you're looking at this person like, okay, the joke's over. It's like, dude, the joke, it's not funny anymore. Like, why are you still laughing? Okay, that's how I felt. Okay, when they were doing Jacques Duchesne. Okay, I get it. They're making him to be an idiot. I get it. It's Disney. I get it. Okay, I know he's a major villain in the comic books, but now he's just a joke. He's just a guy who's trying to be a stepdad, even though the girl he's trying to be a stepdad to is a fucking grown-ass woman, doesn't even live at home. The joke, I get it, all right? He's a French guy, but he's trying to act American, and he's failing at it miserably. And they pointed out, like, yeah, all your aphorisms are wrong, They're all wrong. All these witty sayings that he learned from movies and TV and American TV shows and American movies and American books. He learned that stuff and he's trying to repeat it, but he's doing it wrong. Like what is it? Like revenge the dish best served over eggs. And that's not how you say it. Like he always says the wrong thing. Like life is like a box of chocolates. You never know how old you're gonna get. Like he says it the wrong way. I know that's not what he said, but I'm just, making an example here. The aphorisms are always wrong. It's been a running joke since the first episode. And they spent a good 5 minutes pointing it out to him, and they just run with it. And I'm like, okay, this is an action show. Why are we dwelling on this joke? This is not a sitcom. And even if it was, this is the boring part. Like, move the story forward. And that's when it hit me. There's nowhere to go. There is no story to move forward. I'm in episode 4. I still don't know what the show's about. What is the point of the show? What is the goal? Because every episode, Hawkeye's calling his wife saying that he needs another day. Why? He got the Ronin suit back, right? The only reason I can think of that he is still there is because the what do you call it? The mafia group, whatever, the sweatsuit mafia, whatever, they're still looking for Kate. And he's got to either get rid of them, or something. I don't know what. He got the sword back. He stole the sword back. The Ronin sword from Jacques, who stole it from his uncle. He got the suit back. So, where is the sense of urgency? I mean, I know he wants to get home for Christmas, but he could easily go home for Christmas. The stuff that he wanted is already done. The only reason he's sticking around is for Kate. But he doesn't really like Kate that much. He just kind of feels a sense of obligation to her. In this episode today, he talks to Eleanor, Kate's mom, and she says, hey, I don't want my daughter getting hurt. What you guys do is dangerous. I don't want her getting hurt. And he says, I understand. And then he's like, okay, you know what? I kind of need to cut this girl loose because if she stays with me, she could get killed. And, I remember Natasha, Black Widow, getting killed, and I don't want that on my conscience. She's just a young girl with her whole life ahead of her. I don't want to be, I don't want to be involved in anything bad happening to her, Perfect time to let her loose. Cut her loose. You don't need her. You really don't need her for this story. The real plot of the story, they make you think the real plot is about Hawkeye, but it's not because he's got nothing to do, really. He could leave at any time. He's got the sword, he's got the suit, now he can just hop on a plane and go back to see his family. Why doesn't he do that? He doesn't do that because Kate might be in danger, right? Well, Kate works for is going to inherit a huge security company. Yes, I know her mom is probably the big villain of the show, and she owns a security company. I get it. But having said that, I don't really think her mom would endanger her own daughter. I think her mom just genuinely loved Kate. So she's not going to put her daughter in harm's way. She might be doing some evil things, but she's not going to have her daughter get hurt by it. You see what I mean? So I don't think Kate's in any real danger. You know, I might be wrong, but I don't think she's in any real danger. And if not, she's got enough money. I mean, her mom owns a security company. They can get bodyguards for her. You know, that's if Eleanor is a good person. If she's just a red herring. They can get bodyguards for her. Okay, Kate knows that her soon-to-be stepfather is a shady guy. She knows that now. Okay, so she can do her own computer search and dig up some evidence against him to show it to her mom. Okay, and even if her mom is some evil person, then, you know, her mom's not going to let anything happen to her because she loves her daughter. So I don't really see Kate in that much danger. You know, she's just meeting people and acting quirky and making friends and to get the story going so that these characters can have something to do. They should already have something to do. They should be on a timetable right now. They should be like, oh my God, we're getting close to the finish line. You know, they should be in danger. The stakes should be even higher than they were in episode 1. You know, they should be like right now approaching the no-win situation, which we're not going to find out how to get out of it until the last episode, in episode 6. And they're not there. They're just a filler episode, you know? It's like, okay, where are you going with this? Like, this show has no point so far. It really does. Other than making some jokes, there really is no point to this show. You know, so far they're not doing anything meaningful with this character. You know, they're not. I mean, he's just there. He's just there, annoyed, and like, I don't understand why he's annoyed. He can go home anytime he wants, but he chooses not to. So what the fuck is he all complaining about? What the fuck is he all upset about? You know, I don't see it. I don't see what the story. There's no sense of urgency here. You know, there's no sense of, oh my God, you know. And then at the end here, so we've got Kate Bishop goes in there, defies her orders, and goes in there on her own. She runs into see, I don't even remember her name now. The mute girl. Oh my God, see how bad it is? I don't even remember the so-called villain's name. All right, the mute girl, Echo. Yeah, sorry, Echo. All right. So they're fighting in there. And Black Widow shows up, Yelena Belanova, you know, the Scarlett Johansson's sister in the Black Widow movie. She finally shows up. I knew she was going to be there. We didn't know when. I totally forgot because we haven't seen any mention of her at all. And now she shows up. Okay, she's there. We know why she's there because at the end of the Black Widow movie, Contessa Valentine, you know, what's her name from Seinfeld? You know, Julia Louis-Dreyfus from Seinfeld. Anyway, she shows up and says, oh, this is the guy that killed your sister. What are we going to do about it? Well, he didn't kill her sister, but he didn't get a chance to explain that to her either. They just fought. And she used her stings, her Black Widow stings, which, what is the purpose of these things? They shock you for a couple of seconds, then you just pull it off, and you're right back to where you were. So what's the point of these Black Widow stings? It makes no sense. Like, what's it supposed to do? It doesn't disable you. It's like getting a mosquito bite in the middle of a fight and then fighting again. It's like, what's the point of this? Anyway, so that happens, and she gets away, and we realize, well, Clint Barton realizes, oh my God, there's a Black Widow after you. You're out. I'm going to deal with this. Boom, boom. And I'm just like, so what? So what? I mean, I'm sorry. This story just isn't going anywhere. This story's kind of boring. I mean, it really is. It's boring now. You know, I mean, I understand the purpose of this episode was to add more personality to these characters, to get you to care about them more. But I still don't. If anything, it's just solidified my already bad opinions of them. You know? For example, Eleanor, the mom. What have we learned about her so far that we didn't know about her in the first episode? Nothing. Oh, that she can dance? She was hiding that to her daughter? She didn't tell her daughter that she could dance. Okay, well, I'm sorry. She always seemed shady. From the very first episode, she seemed shady. I know she's hiding something. We just don't know what it is. So I'm guessing, well, then she would have to be the big bad. Some people are saying Madame Mask, but that character already appeared in season 2 of Agent Carter. So if she is Madame Mask, she's another Madame Mask, a second one. Okay, so, you know, and like the swordsman, I know he's hiding his sword ability, but he acts like an idiot. He acts like a tool. You know, if there was anyone, if these Disney Plus writers think that we're stupid, then they're thinking like, oh, we're going to have everybody's going to be thinking it's swordsman, but really it's going to be Eleanor. No, I saw right through that. We all did. If that's the shock, it's not a shock. We figured it out a long time ago. There's plenty of YouTube channels that already called it. You know, he's just a joke. You know, you don't treat the swordsman like he's a legitimate, you know, A-level threat like he was in the comic books. You're treating him like he's a joke. He's a shady guy who's trying to act American and failing miserably at it. He's got a stupid-ass mustache that people haven't worn in 100 years. You know, he's out of shape. So I don't really think that I mean, he's got like the double chin thing going on. So I don't think he could put up much of a fight. You know, he's not this trained athlete with a sword like the comic book swordsman was. You know, the comic book swordsman was a manipulator and a schemer. You know, he was an arrogant prick, but he knew what was going on. You know, this guy is just clueless, or he's acting that way. He wants you to think he's clueless, but you know, it's like he's trying to act funny, and he's not. He's just like, you know, just dumb. Just a dumb guy. So anyway, all right. So so to wrap this up here, like I said, I'm not impressed with the show. Not impressed with this episode. Even if the next 2 episodes are really good, it's not going to save the show. I think the show's already where it is. Okay, right now, if I were to rate this from a scale of A to F, I would put this at a C. You know, like last week it was at a B minus. Now it's at a C plus maybe. You know, but it's not. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't seem to be getting better. And like I said, it has nothing to do with Clint Barton. It has nothing to do with Jeremy Renner. He's doing great. Okay, but you know, the best actor in the world can't save a mediocre script. It can't. And Haley Steinfeld, I think she was miscast. I think she was miswritten to begin with. They wrote the wrong character. That's not Kate Bishop. Okay, that's a Disney Channel show. Okay, and they put a Disney Channel character into a Hawkeye show. It's not going to work. You can't convince us that this is going to be the replacement for Hawkeye. You can't. Not with maybe if she had played it a different character. I mean, play Kate Bishop, but if she played a Kate Bishop who was serious, a Kate Bishop who was determined, a Kate Bishop who was very disciplined and structured and responsible, because you would have to be all these things if you wanted to be a crime fighter with no powers. You see what I mean? This is someone who's used to, you know, bumping the ground. Look like a female MMA fighter or a female Olympian. Look at a gymnast. Look at an Olympic gymnast. A female Olympic gymnast. Look at their bodies. Okay? Does Haley Steinfeld have a body like that? No. Oh, well, neither does Jeremy Renner. Yeah, but Jeremy Renner isn't trying to be Captain America. Okay? He's not trying to be Thor. He's trying to be a guy that hides in the shadow and shoots his arrows and only fights when he has to fight. Okay? He doesn't just jump in there, you know, swinging his fists. Okay? He's the kind of guy that hides on the roof, you know, and takes you out from a distance, you know? See what I mean? And so physically, she's just not imposing. She doesn't look like she's that kind of a person. So it's very hard to sell me on that. It's very hard to sell me that she can. You have to be a super good actress to have an average body and try to convince me that you're this badass assassin, okay? I mean, look at the CW, okay? Look at the Arrow shows, okay? You got these girls that are 90 pounds, you know, 85 pounds, and they're knocking over a guy. Look at Batwoman. Oh my God. What is that girl? Javicia Leslie? What is she, like 100 pounds? And she's punching a guy who's like 300 pounds and 6'4", and he's like, and he's out. I mean, come on. In real life, this would never happen. You know? There's just go with it. Well, go with it means that you're not convincing me already. You see? And so I'm sorry. I'm just not buying. I'm not buying Haley Steinfeld as her character, her portrayal of Kate Bishop as the next Hawkeye. Just not buying it. Anyway, that's what I think about this Hawkeye episode 4. I will review episode 5 next week when it airs, and hopefully it'll get better. But I'm not gonna hold my breath. Okay. All right. Thanks for watching.